Hello to all you saucy ladies and rakish lads. Get ready to rip those bodices and release those flowing locks because this is Bodice Ripping, the podcast where we rip romance novels and compare them to real-life relationships. I'm Alli, and then these are my lovely co-hosts.
Hi, I'm Rachel. Oh, and I am drinking red wine out of a Bulbasaur jam jar from the 90s.
Nice.
I'm Lauren, and I'm drinking a new Belgian Pilsner.
Ooh, fancy.
I'm Gina, and I'm drinking Founders Brewing Company Dirty Bastard Scotch Style Ale.
Scottish.
Very nice. Very nice.
Appropriate for our topic.
And I'm just drinking a rosé.
Just
Nice.
the whole
Not
bottle.
out of the bottle. I have a wine glass with it here.
Oh, I was hoping you were drinking it out of the
Pick up
bottle.
the bottle,
in case I needed a refill,
Ah.
I have it here.
I'm just gonna yell at the boy.
That's fair. That's a good idea.
He always forgets to open it. He forgets that beer needs bottle openers, so he'll just like bring me a beer and have this all proud expression, and I'm just like,
Great.
That doesn't help me.
That's cute.
So I was thinking we should probably talk about how we all know each other.
Good point. Since we kind of jumped right into it last time without
Yeah.
really explaining much. But episode 2, we're learning.
Yay.
Yay.
Okay.
So, I guess Gina and I know each other from 3rd grade, so
Yeah.
we go back a long time.
we played Pokemon together, 3rd grade through present.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably will until the day we die, so.
And then I was Gina's roommate in college.
Randomly assigned goodness.
Yay!
It somehow worked out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the story of random roommate assignment. That actually worked.
Yeah.
Rachel and I met signing up for classes randomly.
Yeah.
We were sat next to each other while an advisor told us which classes to take, and we listened.
Yep. I'm glad we listened, because we were also roommates in college.
And then
Sophomore
all of
year.
us got to be
And then we all lived together.
And we didn't murder each other, which is...
We didn't
Yay!
even get close.
No.
There was one time
No.
we had like an adult discussion.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, oh, I'm sorry, and everything was fine.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
It's all good.
And then
we're
we
all
went to
stand-
IHOP.
Oh, yeah, IHOP.
And we all went to IHOP. Regular IHOP trips.
Slightly
Well, it was like
hungover.
every,
Yeah.
what was it? It was every Tuesday or something we would go to IHOP? Or every Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Wednesdays. IHOP Wednesdays, that's right.
And on Saturday mornings, well, mornings, like noon.
Yeah. Whenever we all dragged ourselves out of bed hungover. And we all are also in relationships. Suppose we should put that out there too.
Yes.
So, if we start talking about, the dudes in our lives, that's why.
Yeah.
Because they exist.
Yes.
Because they exist. They're not just like random people we know.
Yeah.
They might be.
If you think about it, they kind of are.
But yes, we bring
And it's funny, too, because us meeting led to a lot of us meeting the boys, the men.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Well, in the case
I think-
of your guys' husbands, the only 2 married girls here.
Oh, yeah, I don't have my ring on. I don't like wearing my ring when I'm in the shower, and I took a shower this morning and I forgot to put it back on.
It's all good.
Whoopsies.
I know where it is, it's just not on my finger.
That's okay, because
Defense.
Lance, we've been dating for like 9 years, whatever. We're basically married at this point, but we bought a house on a street with all these retired people, and we introduce ourselves with different last names. I don't wear a wedding ring, and they all just assume that we're married anyway. I'm not gonna
A
argue.
lot of people don't take
whatever.
the same last names now, so.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do the last name thing anyway, but still, it's just kind of funny that they just assume that,
Yeah.
that I'm not living in sin.
Oh my gosh, when Paul and I moved in with each other before we got married, my grandma kind of comes to me and is like, oh, you're gonna live together before you're married? Well, I guess that's kind of the thing kids do nowadays. I'm like, you don't approve, but you're not saying anything about it, so.
That was pretty much my grandma's exact reaction, too. She's like, I guess things are different now.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, they are.
Yeah, they are, Grandma. It's a brave new world. Also, we're all poor and need roommates, so might as well live with the sexy boy.
Yes. Hey, I was to say, we're married and we might maybe be getting a roommate, so.
Ooh, fun.
Yay.
Yes. The other lady might be moving in with us, but we're not 100% sure on that yet.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
There's-
exciting.
Yeah.
Things in the air,
Yay.
so.
Woo!
Yeah. I was too excited and almost dropped my keyboard. But that did kind of, there was one thing that, so over the last weekend, we finally went through that little, like, guest book that we had for the wedding, where you just, like, write on the note and stick it in the jar.
Yeah.
I have no idea what I wrote.
Yeah, I don't remember
I
what I wrote either.
I honestly don't remember either.
Okay, good.
But this one in particular stood out to me, because it's been, like, going on 4 years now, and I'm just now reading the guest book from the wedding. But I know who it is, because I ended up finding out, but the message was just generic marital advice. It was, occasionally tie each other up. Choking is fun too.
Oh,
And I just read that. I was just like, I lost it. Like, this is fantastic. This is the best marriage advice ever.
We
that's
got one that
amazing.
said that never sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff. So that
Aw,
was
that's
a
good.
cute
Yeah.
one, not nearly as fun though.
Oh no, there were a lot of really cute and sweet ones. This one was just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And that was from your grandma, probably.
No.
Was it your grandma? It was your grandma.
Yeah.
It was not. No, it was not my grandma. It was Gypsy actually.
Oh, that
Gypsy Rose.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
I should specify Gypsy Rose, not Gypsy Howard.
Oh,
Ooh.
yeah.
That-
We know 2 gypsies.
Yes.
I know 3.
Ooh, look at you.
One of her real name was Gypsy.
Oh.
Oh,
I worked.
I
with her
like that
before
for a
she
name.
left.
I would be the horrible hippie that would like the name Gypsy as an actual name for someone.
I think it's pretty.
Hmm.
Okay. Do we want to jump into the book?
Or
Or do we have anything
I
else
did.
we're gonna...
I did end up reading that the little short story we mentioned in the last episode, the Alpha Alternative.
Oh,
I didn't
yeah.
read that.
Holy shit! Like, that does not make you like that dude anymore.
No, it made me like him way less.
Like, essentially what it is, it's the scene where he, like, goes to her hotel room, and it's from his point of view, and it's basically, he goes there, and the entire thing is just how he's planning to have sex with her and, like, rape her, pretty much. Mm-hmm. But he manages to, like, get her to, like, verbally consent to it. And I think Rachel, I think you mentioned this in the last episode, that they go at it for like 4 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
And like that is just a brief little like quip in a sentence. It's just like, for 4 hours. I'm like, wait, they're doing this for 4 hours? But
yeah.
yeah. And then at the end of it, he's just like, oh, I could see that she was regretting it, so I just erased her memory and threatened her life and went on my way.
Like you do.
Like you, yeah.
Oh my
Like
god,
you
I
don't
was
do,
reading
no.
this entire thing with just like my jaw open, like, are you kidding me?
Not
Yeah,
good.
Like,
that's-
I get people were complaining about no sex scenes in the book, but this is not.
That's not how you do it.
No.
Are you saying that might have been a good thing?
Yes, definitely a good thing. Like, it was horrifying.
Yeah. But yeah. This one
Yeah.
was this this book was a lot less horrifying than the last one, so
Yeah, yeah.
good. Okay.
Did anyone else have anything they wanted to talk about before we get into this?
Not really.
Lauren?
No,
Okay.
I'm just looking at the cover.
It's so
It is a
beautiful.
Trying to see
really-
if there are words. This black, white, and red beauty of a kilt wrapped around everyone. I don't think you can see it, but because it's wrapped
kind of. Your
around
camera's a little
all
blurry.
of them, just fabric for days.
Oh,
Yeah.
there, you can see it a little bit better on Rachel's. Yeah.
Ooh. How plaid do you want it? I don't know.
So plaid.
So plaid.
The plaadiest.
The plaid.
Mhm. Okay, so
Call me a
Rachel, this
platypus.
was Rachel, this was your pick this month, right?
Yes, it was.
Do you wanna introduce it and whatnot?
Sure. Do you want me to read the synopsis, or I know Gina wrote a summary for it, so anyone who did not read along with us will know what's happening and what we're talking about
This time.
this time.
We're learning.
Yay!
Yay! I mean, whatever you want to do.
I would read the summary and then we can maybe just summarize.
The summary.
Summarize the summary.
Well, read the summary and then read our summary, which is a
Oh, so-
spoilery summary.
So do like the synopsis.
Oh,
and
the
then-
synopsis.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Book. Yes.
There's a word for that.
Yes. All right. Are we ready for the dramatic reading of this is such a good synopsis?
It is.
Yes.
I
This
read
is
it
what
to
made-
Lance dramatically, and he was like, "What the hell is this?"
That's why we put this book on the list.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which is, yeah. Here we go. When a mad lass in trousers shoots at him, Monroe. Monroe. This is already off to a great start.
We're professionals. Oh boy.
All right. Okay.
I'll be okay. I can be an
Just
adult.
don't drink anything while I read this.
Yeah, I've learned that.
All right. When a mad lass in trousers shoots at him, Monroe Bear McLowry isn't sure what impresses him more, the girl's sure aim or her arousing curves. Catriona McCall has fled to the Highlands with her half-sister to escape an unwanted wedding and wants no part of him, nor any man. But he can't abandon the flame-haired, sharp-tongued wildcat now that he's discovered her. Not when she fits so perfectly in his arms.
Aww.
Monroe has more than earned his nickname. He's a well-muscled, well-favored mountain of a man, with an engaging grin and a string of well-satisfied lasses behind him. Monroe is also an unexpected boon in Catriona's reckless bid for freedom and an unexpected complication. Clan MacDonald has plans for her, and they don't include her falling for a McLowry. But this man makes her feel like a woman, and he may or may not be her one chance to live a life about which she's only dared dream. Yes. Yeah, it's Some Like It's Scot, by the way. It's the title of the book. I don't think we even mentioned that yet.
Oh yeah.
Some Like It's Scot by Suzanne Enoch, whom I love.
A Scandalous Highlanders novel.
Mhm.
I think this is
number
number 4
4
in the series.
Yeah, it's book 4, which I guess we didn't know when we picked it up, but it's fairly standalone, so
Yeah, it was fine.
it was alright.
Apparently, the rest are just like the siblings' stories.
I
so-
wondered about
Oh,
that.
okay.
I assumed
He's
it was
the
them,
fourth.
yeah. The 4th sibling. The 4th Scandalous Highlander.
The most scandalous Highlander, maybe.
Maybe.
Made it sound that way.
Yeah.
Okay. Does someone want to run through our things to know?
Summary.
Yeah.
A girl wears pants. It is scandalous. The end.
That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
I don't have it pulled up.
I don't either. I'm looking for it.
I've got it.
Okay.
I've got it pulled up. Okay, so we'll go through like just the characters first, in order, I guess. So, she's mentioned in this synopsis, but there's Catriona McCall.
McCall.
McCall, I
McCall.
think.
She just goes by Cat throughout majority of the book.
Mm-hmm.
But she's kind of our or the main lady, she ran away from Clan MacDonald to avoid being married off to as an insult.
Spoilers, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes. Well,
It's, yeah.
Just in case.
This
at
whole
the
podcast
beginning.
is a spoiler.
Yeah. So she runs away because she's going to be married off as, like, an insult, start a war, because she wears pants.
I guess.
But she kind of uses, it's a good way to introduce her sister, I guess. She uses her sister as kind of like a way to do that. It kind of seems like, and her sister is Elizabeth. Already forgot how I pronounced their last name. McCall,
I guess.
She's technically her half sister because Kat's dad remarried this other lady. And then, so Elizabeth sends a letter to Kat because she's about to be married off to the Duke of Visford, who I couldn't figure out. He's gone through, like, they say 4 or 5 marriages.
Yeah.
But they imply either he beat them or killed them.
I think it implied that they were dead.
Yeah,
If
it
they
was
were
so
dead.
awful
They were younger
that they
than
killed
him,
themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think they said one jumped out of a window.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so
just a
yeah, so
bad dude.
So Kat kind of rescues her from that, and they run off to the Highlands. And then there are the McLowry brothers. There's Monroe or Bear, who's kind of the leading male. He's the youngest of 4. And as we find out repeatedly throughout the book, he's a big dude who bangs a lot of chicks.
Yep.
Lasses.
I just read
Lasses.
bangs a lot of lasses, and it made me laugh. But it's true. That's what he does.
There's the older brother, Ranulph. He's referred to as Ranulph or Glenask, or sometimes
Glengask. Yeah.
or sometimes just McLowry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's the head of the clan.
Yeah, he's the head of their clan. He's described as, like, the logical and diplomatic one. Then there's Aaron, the middle brother, who's the clever one. And Rowena or Winnie, who is the sister, as is written in here, supports Bear's decision to marry Kat. This is literally the entire point of her character. And she still doesn't really do anything to help.
She exists.
Yeah.
And she's a female.
Yep. But so she's the, I guess, the third of Monroe's siblings. And then we have Peter Gilling. He's kind of like the footman butler
Slash soldier.
Yeah, they kind of talked about how all of their staff was also, like, trained fighters. So they all kind of did everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the McLowry's father had been killed, I think. And so then, since that happened, all the staff that were brought on were, like, soldiers to help protect everyone, all the siblings.
Yeah.
Yep. But he kind of is with Bear. Well, Bear finds Kat and Elizabeth, and then has to bring this Peter with him a few times. So he kind of helps Bear keep them secret from the rest of the McLowry clan.
Yeah, the oldest brother makes him bring him around because he's afraid for some reason he's going to die.
Get attacked.
I guess there's, like, even though they're, like, at peace with other clans or something, there's still some tension. And so then there's Torridon. He's the MacDonald that Kat was going to be married to. Glengask is the castle that the McLowrys live at. And then there's Halden Abbey, which is, like, an old rundown abbey building where Bear finds Kat and Elizabeth living.
Yes.
It's pretty much just a kitchen with a hole in it.
Yeah.
I think the kitchen was, like, the only even kind of still standing room. Although they talk about, like, a second story that they go up every now and then.
Yeah. I kind of imagined that, like, there was no roof on that.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, there's, no roof, the walls are falling down, so they can, like, get to the second story, but it's not really a room.
Right.
Yeah.
Tarp in the corner to keep out the rain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He does build her a
Fireplace
door at one
works.
point. Yes, there's a fireplace that
true.
works.
He builds them a door. Okay, so book summary a little bit. We kind of touched on some of the backstory of the characters. Kat's father raised her as a boy and never really let her learn how to like dress or act like a woman. And when he remarried, and the woman he remarried had Elizabeth. He tried to do the same with Elizabeth. So then Elizabeth's mother kind of stole her, or didn't steal her, but took her and went off to London. So Kat and Elizabeth have kind of been separated for quite a while, it sounds like.
I think 8 years or something.
Yeah.
I mentioned.
But I guess the MacDonald clan is technically like 2 MacDonald clans.
Yeah, there's the North and the South.
Yeah.
And they don't like each other.
No.
Yes. And
But
they don't like
want
each other.
to like each other.
Maybe.
Yeah, and that's why.
Except for
Maybe.
Kat's
Okay.
uncle wants to mess it all up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So then, Kat's father dies. I don't think they ever say how.
No, I think he
No.
just dies.
He just dies. And her uncle takes over, and her uncle marries, or sets to marry her up to Torridon, who's from the southern MacDonald clan.
Actually, he's from the northern McDonald's, which is called Sutherland.
Oh, okay, that's confusing.
Obviously.
Obviously.
Okay, we'll flip that. The Sutherland McDonald's, which are actually in the north.
Makes sense.
But she's getting married to him as like an insult and a way to start a war because she doesn't act like a lady and she wears pants. And I really liked what was written in the summary, but it's the pants war.
The pants war.
Thank you, Gina.
Yes, thank you, Gina. But around the same time, Elizabeth is set to be married to the Duke of Visford for, I think her mom just wants money, pretty much.
Yeah, she's poor.
Yeah,
He's
so
an old
she
rich
writes.
dude.
Yes.
And he has a
And-
title.
Yep.
Yes. So Elizabeth ends up writing a letter to Kat to ask for help, but Kat runs off to save her. But she's kind of like, so she uses that as like a cover up as to why they're in the Highlands. Like, oh, I had to save my sister and go down here. Because she doesn't want to, like, admit to anyone about the pants war and being used as like an insult. So they go and they're hiding in the McLowry lands in Halden Abbey. And then kind of where the book picks up is Bear is out hunting and he ends up kind of crossing paths with Kat. She shoots the animal that he's hunting. And he follows her back to the Abbey and ends up finding out about her. And kind of like, he keeps them a secret and kind of keeps going back and bringing them gifts and helping them out. And eventually this Peter character comes and finds her and helps keep the secret too. So yeah, Bear keeps going back and forth, bringing them food, blankets. He's also trying to bang Kat.
He likes her pants.
Yes, he
Basically.
likes her pants.
And the
loves her
womanliness
pants.
underneath it.
Yes.
But eventually, Ranulph follows Bear to the Abbey and finds out about Elizabeth, not Kat, but Elizabeth, and ends up bringing her back to their home or castle.
She agrees to this. It wasn't a kidnapping.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not kidnapping or
It's
anything.
fine.
Like,
They agree to help
she goes
her.
like Bear brings her with and everything. It's the whole party is going back to because they think that Bear wants to marry Elizabeth.
Because they didn't see Cat.
Yep.
Yes, yeah, Kat was hiding. I really like this. Ranulph is cool with this because fuck the English, am I right?
That is a large tone of this book. Fuck the English and their pants.
Yeah. So Kat is
Damnation.
staying hidden at the Abbey. Elizabeth is now living at Glengask, the castle, with the McLowry clan. And Ranulph ends up writing to the MacDonalds telling them that he has Elizabeth, thinking that they're going to come get Elizabeth because he doesn't know about Kat.
I think they
And then-
actually didn't think they'd come for her. They just wanted them
They
to
just
know
wanted a
because
letter.
it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, as
Oh,
a
okay.
courtesy, like, hey, he's gonna marry or she's gonna marry our brother, probably. Just giving you a heads up. We're not like kidnapping her or anything.
Yeah. Politics.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Politics.
But instead, Torridon shows up looking for Kat. And Bear gets all up in arms about this. But, so he's going back and forth and visiting Kat. At this point, I believe that they are, like, doing it.
Yeah, once Elizabeth leaves
consistently.
the Halden Abbey, they are doing it every night.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Where was I? There I am. Okay. So Bear keeps going back there. Eventually, eventually Ranulph finds out about Cat and kind of tells Bear, "You're either kicked out of the clan, or you have to bring her here to her betrothed."
Or they want her to go away,
They wanted
actually.
her away because they knew that she wouldn't marry him, so they just wanted out of it.
They wanted to give her money and just say, go live on your own and do your thing and, like, don't drag us into your issues.
Right,
yeah.
but then when Bear, when she refuses and Bear says, no, she's not going anywhere, they kind of tell him, okay, well, you either bring her to the house and, like, give her to this guy so he can take her away, or you're not allowed to come back here.
Yeah.
But the other option was to send her away before anyone even knew she was there.
Yeah.
Right, which they don't do.
Yep, that was the preferred option, I guess, of them, but they didn't do that, so...
So now Bear is essentially living with Cat at the Abbey. They fall in love after like an hour. Bear ends up writing a letter to his sister, and this is the one part she plays in the story. She sends Cat a bunch of dresses.
And
That's
a
it.
mirror.
Yeah.
And a mirror.
Some ribbons and hairpins.
petticoats.
And ribbons. She sends her everything she needs to look like a lady.
Yes.
Undergarments.
And then it's up to Bear to teach her to be a lady.
And this is because she wanted to learn how, so she wouldn't be, like, embarrassed meeting his family and everyone.
Yeah.
No one was trying to, like, force her to be more ladylike.
Yeah, this was her thing. Bear's like, no, you wear pants and you're awesome. And she's like, yeah, I better wear a skirt, I guess.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, I kind of got the impression that she didn't like the fact that she was essentially raised like a boy. Like, she wanted to learn how to be a lady.
Yeah.
And now it's like this huge, like, self-conscious thing for her.
Yeah.
She said she always wanted to grow her hair out, but her dad made her cut it the whole time he was alive.
Yeah, her dad raised her as a boy because he didn't have any sons. Typical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she gets a bunch of dresses. Bear starts helping her learn to be a lady. And then they decide to go to Glengas together and be all like, we love each other, like, we're not going anywhere. I lost my spot again.
Deal with it, yeah.
Essentially very heavily implies that he wants to be with Cat and not Elizabeth. A big brawl happens. I guess Torridon actually wanted to marry Cat, and not because he wanted to start a pants war. Big fight happens, and then I believe that they figure out that Elizabeth should marry Torridon because she's also the McDonald blood and can help with that alliance.
Yeah, she's got like the exact same relationship, except she doesn't wear pants.
Yeah.
So it's not embarrassing, you see.
Yes.
And they kind of like each other because Torridon and Elizabeth had both been at Glengas Castle hanging out, and they're both sophisticated, Englishy type.
Both fancy pants people.
Like, they were obviously way more into...
Rachel, Jesus!
My bad.
Like, Elizabeth and Torridon are obviously way more into each other than Cat would have been.
Yeah.
So it just, like, even relationship-wise made more sense.
Well,
and, like, I saw it...
Torridon did not like Cat. Like, he wanted to marry her to prevent a war, but he also, like, insulted her, which is what started the fight.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So they figure that out, and then I think while that's getting figured out, Bear ends up proposing to Cat, and, like, they're getting all ready to run away, and then Ranulph comes up to them. He's like, hey, it worked out. Elizabeth's gonna marry Torridon. You guys are good.
Well, it was actually, it was Bear's idea.
Yeah.
It was Bear's idea for Elizabeth to marry Torridon, and then Ranulph was like, okay, you two go away while we talk about this.
Yep. And it was like, it's cool. Yep.
Yep.
And Bear proposed.
Yep.
And then, Bear proposed. And that's the end. They leave it, like, right after the proposal.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
Like it says here, Bear and Cat probably bang again at the end.
Yep.
Probably. So, yeah.
So, that is the summary.
Oh, no. No, there's nothing bad.
Oh, okay.
I wanted...
What?
No, I wanted to text for more beer, but I don't have my phone in here, so I can't.
Oh no!
Oh, no.
Just shout it.
Just bang on the wall.
Beer!
More beer! More ale!
Just, like, mute your mic or something. I don't know.
Anyway.
Yes.
Should we go around and say general impressions?
Sure.
Okay. And let's try not to interrupt like last time.
Yeah.
Yes. I think technically last time we only got through one person, then we all kind of, like, just started chattering.
Yeah.
Yes.
Alright. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Alright.
So I didn't think about this. I knew this.
You volunteered.
I'll go first. I'm unprepared.
That's basically my life.
That's cool.
So I enjoyed it. Like it was pretty fun to read. There was like one steamy scene that was all right. The writing, like a lot of the dialogue was written in like a Scottish brogue, which was really distracting. But you know, it didn't have the same problem as the last book where it's just like, ha ha, he's Irish, I forgot. The one thing that bothered me that they stopped doing about halfway through the book is there were like 2 words for women, which was lasses or females. And that just every time I saw it, I'm like, female.
Star
It
Trek
really bothers
voice.
me.
Yeah.
It really bothers me. I think one thing that annoyed me was that for being a book that was trying to be like, oh yeah, women are great, they can do whatever they want. Who cares? Look at these strong women. They didn't really do anything. Like, none of them did anything. Not even Kat, who was always just like, I'm crazy. Look at these pants. All she really did was like go hunting and hang out in the Abbey and take care of her sister, and then like decide that she wanted to go to the castle, which Bear escorted her to. And there was one time during the fight where she like jumped on a dude, put her hands over his eyes or something, and that was pretty much like the most influence she had on the story. So that was kind of annoying. But you know, you're getting into this kind of Highlander romance novels. It's what you expect, so I'm not going to be too critical of that part. But yeah, overall it was alright. I think the characters in general were more likable. I liked Bear. Sort of. He was okay. The writing was really repetitive. It's like every time they mention Bear, it's like, he's big! He likes sex a lot! He's smarter than you think.
Yep.
That's Bear.
Yep.
The rest of the characters didn't really have character types, except Ranulph, who was just kind of a dick.
Mm-hmm.
He's
That's
got
pretty
to
much all I have
protect
to
the
say.
family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Next.
Next. Okay, I'll go. I also mostly liked it. It was just kind of like a cheesy, fluffy, sexy men in kilts running around with swooning ladies kind of deal, which I guess I kind of expected. So it was alright, but you touched on a lot of the points. Like, there were some weird gender things happening in it with she was raised as a man and, you know, kind of ashamed to be in pants, but she also kind of liked it, and all these characters being mean to her because she's in pants, and, you know, that kind of was a little for me, I guess. They didn't nuance it, I guess, as much as I wanted, but of course this is not the kind of book that's going to be nuanced in any way, so. But the writing style was alright. I thought it was well written. The dialect was kind of distracting, But it did help differentiate between like the proper English characters and the Highlanders at a glance, which was, I guess, its intended purpose. But I still, like, when they said like a boot, it just made me read them with like a Canadian accent instead. So, yeah, that was, interesting in my head. And the plot was really, really slow, if you can even kind of call it a plot, since they really didn't do a whole lot. They just kind of hid out in the Abbey. There was a lot of dramatic yelling and, people banging each other, but not really anything happened except at the end of the book where they all fist fight each other over the lunch table, which I loved. So yeah, a little slow, a little repetitive, but the sexy scenes were all right, I guess. I loved every time that he mentioned he had a tent in his kilt. That made me laugh. So yeah, overall it was pretty alright. And I did like the characters. Catriona was pretty cool. I like Bear. He's also cool. But yeah. Lauren, what'd you think?
Sure. I liked that they were both really stubborn, because I could relate to that. So, like, when Bear shows up at the Abbey, and she's like, "Get out of here! I don't need your help! Leave!" And he's like, "Well, I could bring you things you use. What would you use?" And she's like, "I don't know, some Shakespeare and a silver spoon and a smoked ham." And then the next day he shows up with those exact items. I was like, "Ooh, I like him."
Yeah.
I think Shakespeare and a silver spoon is going to be a new phrase.
Yeah.
I don't know what it means yet, but that was a good one. Okay, go on.
It's necessities, obviously. So I liked their characters and I liked their dynamic because, like, she was not in a mood to be rescued, and he very much respected her personality. But that being said, it was a very fluffy, non-substantial sort of book with not a lot of plot. I was surprised that there was only one romance scene. Like, they talked a lot about their kissing, but definitely alluded to the fact that they were having sexy time a lot, like every night or every afternoon that he stopped by when Peter wasn't along with him. It seemed like they clearly would be doing it, but they never really, they only had the one romance sort of scene.
There was one that went for 2 lines, and you're like, whoa, oh, we're doing this. Wait, okay, it's over.
Yeah, he was worried about hurting her butt on the floor because they didn't have a mattress. But overall, I thought it was a very quick read and a fluffy sort of light reading.
Mm-hmm.
More romance novel than the last one was.
Yes. More typical romance novel.
Yeah. How about Alli?
I liked it too. It was like, I think most of you said, like, a very short, or maybe not a short read, but an easy read. Like, it wasn't difficult to just kind of sit down and, like, plow through 5 or 6 chapters. That's kind of how I ended up reading it. That's kind of how I ended up, like, finishing it. As I was halfway through the book, and then one afternoon, I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna sit down and read it. And then, like, maybe a couple hours later, I was like, oh, that's it, we're done.
Yeah, it just ends.
Yeah. It's just, like, he proposes, and then they were like, okay, everything's good, and then it just ended. But, yeah, I'm not really sure how I felt about Kat. Like, I liked the idea of her character, but it was kind of the typical, oh, my dad raised me to be a boy, but I actually want to be a girl, or act like a girl kind of thing. I was kind of bothered by how often they had to talk about how big and manly Bear was and how strong he was and how many ladies he banged all the time. Like, it wasn't just, like, other characters mentioning this. Like, it would be from Bear's point of view, and he would talk about this about himself.
Yeah.
And then he'd go into how, like, he's like, sad that that's the only way people see him, and they don't see him for how, like, smart he actually is. I'm like, that's how you're acting. But, Yeah, the dialogue kind of threw me off now and then too. Like you'd be reading a sentence and then that word Ken.
Yeah, for no
like,
or something.
Yeah,
it was either
I looked it up.
No.
Yeah, I looked it up. It's supposed to be for like it means like knowledge or knowing and like so it's supposed to be for the word no. But I kept reading it as like can, like CAN.
Yeah.
So I'd read that sentence and I'd have to read it like 3 or 4 times before I could actually like, okay, no, they're talking about like, I know this. Yeah, I wasn't super impressed with the one actual sex scene. Like, it was maybe a page, I think, long.
I think it was a spread.
It was a few pages.
Was it? Okay,
Yeah.
I've got it on the Kindle one, so it
Yeah.
was... I don't know how the pages are supposed to be
the
laid
Kindle
out.
pages are usually like 2 or 3 pages per page.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
it was
it was
2.5 pages on the print book.
Yeah, but they would do some sexy stuff and then they talk and then they do more sexy stuff and then they talk. So it seemed.
And it wasn't. I guess it wasn't like really all that detailed. It was just kind of like, oh, they're doing it.
I don't know. There was some stuff that
I did
get
a kick out of it. They were more detailed about his kilt tented than anything else.
Still my favorite.
or like how like hot and heavy their kisses would be, but when it actually got down to them like doing it, it didn't really. I guess I was expecting more sex scenes than just like the one initial they're having sex for the first time.
Yeah.
It kind of felt like they're like, oh, we hit 50% of the book, better put a sex scene in, and that's the end of it.
And it is like right out the halfway mark.
Yeah.
Page 202 for anyone who only cares about the sexy parts. And if you want a good pickup line, guys, just say, "Now lift up, I've a yen to see a naked."
Oh, I think that was part of my favorite line because they're undressing, whatever, and you're not really paying attention, and then it mentions, I'm gonna see you naked, and she's like, oh yeah, that's only fair, because he was nude, but for his boots. And for some reason,
so that was another
lost
thing.
it.
That was another thing. I'm so glad that they actually mentioned him taking off his boots.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I was just going to be picturing him completely naked except for his boots through the whole thing. And I'm just like sitting there, I'm just like, that's weird.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, I hope he takes those off. Like, I hope
it's like that's like double socks. Like, that's not good.
Yeah, double socks.
So the thing that kind of drove me nuts about that scene was, like, she's a virgin. And he's, like, taking her virginity, and he's, like, talking about how, oh, it's gonna hurt, but I don't want to hurt you, but it's gonna hurt, so just tell me if it hurts. And then it's basically just, like, ow, and then, like, everything's fine for the rest of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, like, not how it works from my experience, but I don't know, everyone's different, so.
No, not mine either. Like, it wasn't just, like, an ow and we're done kind of thing.
Everyone starts drinking.
Suppressing some memories, it's fine.
It's like, we're remembering the time we lost our virginity. Oh, let me chug this real quick.
I guess mine wasn't that bad.
Mine wouldn't have been that bad, except he then wanted to do it, like, 2 more times. I'm like, dude, I'm in pain. And it's just awkward.
It's just so awkward, especially when you're younger. I was a little younger, and it's just thinking back to it. It's like, it's never that romantic the first time either, because you're nervous, and you're, like, with this person for the first time, and it's never going to be like a romance novel or a movie. Something weird is going to happen.
It's a good way to put it.
Yeah. But yeah, I did in general like the book. It was pretty easy. The characters, I think it was Gina who mentioned it, they all just seemed kind of very one-dimensional. There was something I saw in my notes, and now I can't find it anymore, but, yeah, I mean, it was a decent book. I definitely liked Bear a lot more than the last leading guy.
Yeah.
He was much more likable. I don't know.
Yes, he actually got occasionally, like, romantic and sweet.
Yeah. The way they kept talking about him, though, like, I couldn't imagine him like a human, which was a problem. Like,
yes, yeah, I agree with you there.
They just made him sound so, like, a bodybuilder, and I'm just, like,
Yep.
I'm trying to be like, no, he's supposed to be, like, attractive, and then I'm just like, and I'm like, no! He's just a normal, muscly dude!
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy on the cover did not look
No.
the way that I'd imagined him. Because when I pictured him, I pictured like a slightly heavier set guy
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
very
Looks
muscly.
Oh, okay.
And this guy is like thin.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's like, what, 6.5 feet tall or something?
Yep.
Like, he is a big dude.
He's a bear.
He's a bear.
He's a bear.
Burr.
It's like, I know people who are that tall, and they look like humans.
Yeah.
For some reason, just the way that they kept talking about him is just like, no, he's like 3 times as big as a normal person. That's
They called
just
him
my
a
problem,
mountain
though.
too.
Yeah. A mountain of a man.
Mm-hmm. And it was like every single scene he was in, they mentioned it at least 3 times.
Yep. That was a big thing in this book, is they repeated a lot of stuff a lot of times. So I don't know if it was just like padding for length or something, because there wasn't a lot of plot that they had to keep like reiterating.
I'm sorry. I'm 12.
Like the unintentional sexual language.
There was
Yeah, that's
a
what
part.
it felt like.
So I just highlighted a couple of parts that I thought were kind of like funny or just weird, or like, why would you write that? But there's one that specifically relates to this conversation, which is, he was a magnificent specimen of the male figure.
Ooh. I'd like to draw you in your class.
Yeah.
It says, and he was magnificent, all 6.5 feet of him. This is pretty much every time they talk about what he looks like. It's pretty much this, just over and over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But I did like his personality. I mean, like, he's this big dude, and he's kind of like perceived to be this unintelligent, kind of oafish. He just punches things.
And he kind of encourages it intentionally.
Yeah, he kind of hides behind that, I think, but he's actually pretty, like, sensitive, and he's kind of thoughtful, and he is, you know, clever, and he really loves his lady, so that was kind of nice to get that.
There were a couple moments that kind of made me go, wow, dude, you're a dick.
Yeah, there were moments.
one of them was like, I think it's fairly early on when he's trying to woo Kat, but this is one of the sentences that I highlighted because I read it and I just like, I had to like put the book down and just like breathe for a second. But it's just, with a horse, he gave it an apple and then he wrote it. A lass might require flowers or a pretty bauble, but the principle was generally the same.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember reading that and going, oh, no.
That's how women are.
Yeah.
We're just like horses.
Yeah, you just give us, like a ring or something, and we'll just fall all over you. Mm-hmm. Take me now, here are my boobs. Like that. Not how it works.
No.
But yeah, there is this really big emphasis on how he was before, which is that. And I think it was supposed to be like contrasting with, see, he really does love her because he treats her like an actual human person.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I get the contrast that was supposed to happen, but because they kept repeating so much about what he was like in his past, it was very hard for me to be like, not think that that's how he currently was.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to make a likable character, like, you gotta make him not a dick, except for this one situation.
Yeah. Yeah. It's okay to have character development too. I guess that was his arc, I guess, because he fell for Kat pretty quickly and changed pretty quickly, because I think they only know each other for a few weeks or like a month
like
or
the
two.
Whole book is like a few weeks long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it all takes place like before winter hits, and they say that winter's going to be hitting in like a few weeks at the beginning of the book.
Yeah. And it's you know, like the first time he sees him, he's like, Dick stole my deer. And then he's like, that's no Dick. That's just a lady in pants.
It's a lass. A female.
A female.
You're right. Accurate. And then he's like, he talks to her like once and she hates him and he leaves and he's like, she's kind of hot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he keeps coming back and harassing her. And he's like, she's different. I like her. Actually, no. First he's like, I'm sexually frustrated. Gotta bang her so I can get over it. And then she's like, he's distracting me from protecting Elizabeth. I better bang him so I can get over it. Because everyone knows that's how it works.
Yeah, that is not.
So then there's that one part. And then they're just, like, in love with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm guessing this is typical romance fashion because it's a very much kind of enemies to lovers trope, which I love, don't get me wrong, but this happened so quickly that it was just kind of like, wait, what?
Well, I think he kind of liked her from the start because he said not many women or men had ever bested him, and she had. But she did not like him at all, and then he just kept visiting her until she gave up, I think.
Yeah.
He wore her down.
Like, get out of my life.
Persistence
And
thing,
came back, like, every day.
Yeah. Which is also not how you should do it.
Yeah.
Like, don't just constantly harass a girl to get her to go out with you. It's just gonna make her get a restraining order.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
That's one of the things that I hate about, like, romance novels and movies, that it makes it look like that's what you're supposed to do, and it's really, really not.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I'll do it.
they make it look romantic, but in reality, it's just creepy. It's really creepy, and it makes her uncomfortable, generally, so...
Yeah.
She only shoots at him 3 times.
Yeah.
And she intentionally misses. She could have shot him.
Yep.
That would have been a short book.
And she didn't, so it's love.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and too, like, the first time he kisses her, he's, like, holding her against the wall or something, and he just does it because he's like, I have to do it. I just can't handle it anymore. And, she tells him to, like, stop.
Cut it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, knock it off, and he doesn't. He's like, no, I shan't. And it's like, no, you should. Knock it off.
Yeah, I highlighted that section. I wrote, only in a romance novel will a little sexual assault run over a woman.
Yeah.
Well, and then even later in the book, when they are together, she still does the, oh no, stop, don't.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I hate reading that kind of thing. Why are you saying no when you don't mean no? And he keeps going anyway. Like,
Yeah.
And it would be totally within her character to be like, yes, keep doing that, because she's like this bold, like, I kind of do what I want to do, and I'm not afraid to tell you off, so.
Right.
Yeah, she wouldn't, her character wouldn't, I didn't like that, because it seemed very out of her character to just be like the coy little, oh no, stop.
Yeah.
But.
Because she's never been weak around him.
Yeah. That kind of stuff can be like, super hot if it's already, like, agreed upon that it's okay. Like, like, I'm gonna play like coy, but I don't mean it. But when, it's like the second time you've kissed someone and they're like, please don't kiss me, baby, don't.
Yeah.
There's a difference between, I think there's also, like, a fairly obvious difference between a girl and the way she acts when she's playing coy and when she's actually being like, no, get the fuck away from me.
Yeah, and she was, like, literally about to shoot him, and then she didn't because reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says in the first time he kissed that it was just to get her to stop talking.
Oh, never do that. Not a valid tactic.
That she wouldn't shut up, and so he needed to, like, calm her down, so he just put his lips on hers so they would not be talking anymore.
So much in romance novels, and I don't understand it, because that's not what's gonna happen. She's not gonna melt into it and be like, oh,
I'm just gonna be angry.
That's because women are talkative and annoying, and they secretly want the dick.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
It's like every woman ever, if you ask a romance novel.
Yeah, they're all the same. It's cool.
That kilt tent.
The guilt.
Do we want to go through, like, our highlights? I think that would be fun. Unless you didn't highlight. Maybe, like, if you didn't highlight anything, maybe, like, your favorite parts.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I didn't really highlight much, but, I did have
Or
some
if you've
pretty good
got any notes that we haven't gotten to. Things like that.
Yeah. Let's see what I got.
Do you have highlights, Gina? Do you want to start?
I do have highlights. So I already told you about that one. The magnificent specimen of the male figure. Just a weird thing to write. This one was very early in the book, page 2. It was a cold, wet, wild Highlands come hither morning.
Oh, I like that
one. His mouth curved in one of those maddening, astoundingly attractive smiles he seemed to be able to assume at will. You know, like,
A smile?
A smile.
Yeah. Like, who can just smile whenever they want to? That's crazy. Then she visibly squared her shoulders, and he girded his loins for further combat.
Oh,
that was one of my highlights too.
There was literal loin girding in this one.
Yeah,
Yep,
that
was
happy.
that was one of my I highlighted it and I just wrote, they said it.
They said it.
I think I read that part while I was in the bathtub, and I'm like, I gotta go get a highlighter.
I read it, and like, as I'm highlighting it, I'm like, gird your loins! I have a few more. Christ in a kilt as, like, an expression.
Oh.
That would make me happy. And the last one. You've made it very sturdy, she said aloud, wrapping one hand around a timber and tugging at it. That's all I mean, there were probably more, but those were the ones that I, like, literally laughed at and highlighted, so.
There are a lot of good ones in here.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to start using damnation.
Damnation.
Whenever I'm upset. They say that a lot, or they think it a lot.
Yeah.
Some of my highlights, one of them is, she sighed, the soft sound making Monroe's cock jump.
Boing.
Does sighing really do that? Like, is that a thing?
I think it's like...
Because, like, it's not even like she's sighing pleasurably. Like, I believe she's sighing out of, like...
Exasperation.
Yeah. Let's see. Part of this is written in the accent, so I don't know if I'll quite pronounce it right, but it's, "Dunna ye try that tone with me, giant." Catriona blinked, something unexpectedly jabbing into her chest.
Oh.
Which I think she was standing at this point, which was confusing to me.
Yeah,
Right.
It's like she's saying she's super short, that she comes up to his crotch.
Yeah. like he's 6'5"-ish, 6'6".
6'6".
So that'd have to make her, like, around maybe, what?
4 feet?
Less than 5, yeah, less than 5 feet.
Rachel, what's that like?
I am 5'4", thank you very much.
Yeah, I remember
even
that
that would
part,
be a
and
lot.
I was just
Yeah.
like, wait, how does that work?
Yeah.
Is she on her
Yeah.
knees? No.
Where,
She's standing. He's standing.
was she sitting on the table at that point?
No, she
don't
was
think so.
standing up. Because I
Yeah.
remember thinking through the logistics. I'm like, what would she have to be doing? Standing and that happening. And I'm like, was it his penis? It's implied that it was his penis, but maybe it wasn't. There's a chance.
There's a chance.
I think it's meant to be his penis, like, but...
It's the dick, I tell you. It's the dick. Sorry, Gina.
Yeah, those are the only, like, the rest that I have highlighted were things that just had me going, like, why would you, like, angrily, why would you write that?
Please share.
Why? I tell you why.
Mm-hmm. And then it was, like, the random, like, oh, he's actually being romantic here.
Aw.
There were some sweet parts.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I did highlight, like, kind of what was going through her head after, like, the first time they had sex. And, one of them is, would he say they were joined now? That they were bound together? Hand-fasted even? And I'm just like, whoa, slow your roll there, chickie. Hand-fasted is like a type of marriage. Like, just having sex with a dude doesn't mean you're married.
That would mean he's hand-fasted to a lot of other ladies at that point.
Yes.
They did mention
Yes.
later that, like, in some places they would be considered hand-fasted. So,
Yeah, even he says it.
yeah, I think that was...
I suppose.
That was really more of her just not having any idea what kind of guy he is, which she should at this point.
Yeah, especially if you're having sex with him.
But yeah, no.
Hopefully you know that before you have sex with him.
For the first time, you're like, "Are we married now?"
Wait, what was that? I missed the first part of that.
I said you were right. Like, you bang someone the first time, and you think, "Are we married now?" That's a little fast.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I guess for some people, but
yeah,
depends on
I like
culture.
that he called her a wildcat. I thought that
was cute.
I kind of like that little nickname.
Yeah.
And I got a little annoyed at the whole, like, "Are you mine?" thing. Like, they were both very...
she got annoyed by that, too.
Yeah.
She hated that shit. She's like, "No, I'm not yours, I'm me."
I'm not property. I am a female.
Eventually she starts doing it, too. Eventually she's like, "You're mine."
Yeah, eventually she's just like, "Well, I guess maybe if you're mine, too, it's not so bad."
Right. Yeah. There's a mutual mineness, but when he's like, "You're mine. I'm not done with you yet."
Yeah.
And she's like, "No, don't kiss me." And he's like, "I'm gonna kiss you because you're mine." You know, all that hot stuff that's really healthy.
Yeah.
Did you have any more, Alli?
No, that was about it. Those are the only, like, really funny ones. The rest I was just kind of highlighting because I was just, like, a little angry at them. I'm like, aggressive highlighting.
I had a couple at the main sexy part that made me laugh a little. Like when she's taking off his kilt and she gets a glimpse of the D. She's like, "One couldn't grow up among Highlanders without an occasional glimpse of a cock and balls, but a fit aroused giant was something new and very, very impressive. You see what you've done to me, cat," he murmured. And then she tells him, "You're a magnificent lad bear," and then strokes his penis. So I thought that was funny. There's a lot to unpack in that sentence, honestly. A lot.
I liked when, before they had the sexy time, and she was aware that he had told her that she was attractive to him, she kept, like, looking down at his kilt like, "Is it happening? Is it happening?" Why?
Is this it? Nope. Maybe. Yep. Oh.
I thought he said that stuff happened. Where is it?
Where is it?
It's okay, we'll find out when it pokes you in the chest.
Yeah. Oh, now it's happening.
That one time she points it out when she's just like, "Your kilt!"
Oh, that part made me laugh too.
Well, don't they have, like, company come over and then he's like, "Oh, I gotta think of ugly things now."
Yeah. And she's like amazed. She's like, "It just went down."
Yes, that's how penises work. They go up and then back down.
Sometimes all on their own.
Oh. Yeah. It was little moments like that made me like their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a little part at the end. It was like way at the end, and I think it's when they're alone and he's maybe about to propose to her or something. I'm not quite sure where this is. Or maybe they're going to Glengask and they're talking for the last time before they get to that fiasco. I don't know where this happens. I don't know. But he's talking about making his family in Torridon see reason. But if he doesn't, he's gonna beat him to a pulp. And then she's like, "You say the sweetest things." It's like, aw, he's threatening to beat a man for you. He loves you.
I thought it was really sweet that he knew how to do hair, and then he was, like, braiding her hair and putting it up. And...
I loved that.
That was my favorite part, was when he was, like, helping her act like a lady, and she was really self-conscious about everything, and she's like, but you like me in pants, and you like me in dress, like, what do you mean? And he's like, "I like you."
Yeah.
He's like teaching her how to walk in heels, because he has a sister, and apparently brothers learn that stuff. Mine didn't. I mean,
Yeah, no.
Just saying.
Yeah, mine didn't either.
And the letter that he wrote to his sister was adorable.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can find it.
Yeah.
But that was another one of my favorite parts where I was actually like, oh my god.
Yeah, it was kind of cool how they had the gender kind of like mesh thing. Like, he's this big manly man, but also he can do hair and he knows all this stuff about being a lady. And then she's this woman who also can like shoot better than anybody, and she wears pants. And it's kind of nice. It's like you can be both masculine and feminine, and you shouldn't have to apologize for it. So I did like that part of it.
But you can't marry people because you'll start wars.
I guess.
Yes.
No pants.
No pants. Yeah. So they, as a couple, I guess, complemented each other very well. They both mentioned they were like both kind of outcasts a little bit. So that was nice, I guess.
Yeah, I like that.
I got a little bit of what I call youngest child syndrome towards the end, when he's like, I just want to marry the person I like. You got to marry the person, you almost started a war, you got shot, and it's like, but, and they're all like, no, but it's different now. We can't do the same thing for you, because now we have families, and he's like, come on!
Yeah, Winnie was the only one who's like, seriously, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're all stupid, come on. They were, yeah, I didn't really like his oldest brother very much. I'm guessing, because he gets his own book, I'm assuming you're supposed to like him more because you know his story and stuff, but because they all got their own books, I guess, they're not fleshed out in this one, so I can't really tell what they're...
I actually read a review on Goodreads that, from people who have, like, read the whole series, and they're like, all the characters were so likable in their books, and then they just turn into cardboard in this one.
Oh.
They do have eyes, though. Like, they have blue eyes or green eyes.
Green eyes, yeah.
But the green eyes are not as warm or soft as Bear's green eyes. And, you know.
And she's got brown eyes. We know the color of everybody's eyes.
Yep. That's an important detail.
And she's got red hair, but not on the cover. Just...
Wait, it's not she doesn't have red hair. I don't have I've got the Kindle version.
It's pretty,
it looks
brown.
Pretty brown. Like, it might be red, but the lighting
Can one of you hold it up to the camera?
Lauren, if you click on your picture on there, it can...
Oh, yeah. It'll...
I'm not coordinated.
Yeah.
There we go.
There. Oh.
Oh.
There. Oh.
Okay. Oh,
Brown
it
hair.
kind of has a little bit, yeah. It's like a reddish brown.
I see like a reddish tint in the corner.
Yeah. But no, like the way they describe her is like fiery red.
Yeah.
Well, the author doesn't have any control over the cover, usually, so...
That's true. That's probably why there's like a weird muscly
dark-haired dude
They
instead of
got the
do you
color
want
of the
it?
plaid right, though, so...
They did, yes.
Trying to find this letter, I'm sorry.
No,
It was
that's okay.
really cute.
It was cute.
He says, like, she's mine, and she wants to learn to be a woman, something.
Yeah.
It's like kind of towards the end, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, on the hunt.
Yeah, because her brothers are, like, asking about it, and that's when they go, "Ah, shit, we got the wrong sister," and they're all freaking out.
We've got the wrong sister.
Wait a minute.
I was so confused how they were just sitting there wondering, why isn't he spending all this time with Elizabeth, who he wants to marry?
Why is he at that abbey with that other girl?
Why wouldn't you want to marry her? She's all proper and shit.
I thought when they were originally trying to bribe Kat into leaving that it was really a test to make sure she didn't want Bear for, like, the money or the status. And then here they were just being idiots.
Yeah. That would have been better if they had been testing her.
Yeah, I gave them a lot more credit than they deserved.
Yeah. Especially Ranulph. The dick.
Fucking Ranulph.
Aaron was alright, I guess.
He was okay.
Yeah. He was just
And
kind
they all
of
had
there.
their
And I liked Winnie.
Yeah.
I would have liked her more if she did anything.
Yeah.
Had any depth.
And they all had wives who had names, but they didn't do anything.
Nope.
Yeah.
They were all just ladies talking and giggling with each other. And not much else.
I did like, I think at one point Ranulph's wife
Oh.
questioned someone, and he's like, she can talk to her without being quite so overbearing and scary, and he, like, respects his wife enough to let that happen and to trust what her instincts say. But that's about it.
I did like, I think it was during the brawl, it was Ranulph's wife, I think her name is Charlotte, she, like, fires a pistol into the air.
Yeah.
It's like, fucking
You're
knock
done.
it off!
That's how they end the fight, is she
Yeah.
fires a pistol in the air.
I was like, okay, I like her.
Okay, I found the
Assassin-act.
letter.
Yay! Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So they're reading the letter, and it says, Winnie, I've a lass with me who's never had the chance to be a lady. Will you help me give her one? I need a few gowns with whatever goes beneath them, some proper walking shoes, hair clips, and lip rouge, and whatever else you deem important. She has my heart, Rowena. Mine. I think I teased Latch too much when he fell for you. I'll tell you more when I can. There. The word mine is underlined. Twice.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sweet and slightly possessive.
Yeah, there's the mine.
But
thing
at that
again.
point, she'd already agreed to it.
Yeah.
It was just so sweet, because it's like, I don't know, just his character up to that point would never do something like that sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like at the beginning, he makes fun of his brothers for being all domesticated or domesticified or something. He makes up a weird word.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then after a while, he's like, I just want to spend my whole life with her. That was
Character
cute.
development. It was cute.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he'd never been able to picture marriage until he met her, and then it was like it suddenly made sense to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just needed the right lady that complimented him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Throughout,
Loved
like,
him
the
for who he
entire
was.
beginning of the book, he was talking about how, like, he loved his nieces and nephews, but he didn't want any of them.
Yeah.
He's like, I love them, but why?
Then they're having sex,
Why?
and he's like, we might make a baby. That'd be okay.
Yeah, that was kind of funny because after they do it like 2 or 3 times, he's like, "Oh shit, we haven't really done the pregnancy prevention thing."
Yeah.
That was something I was going to talk about. When he's just like, whoops, no condom, oh well.
Even though I was thinking like, how did they stop pregnancies in this time? Did they just like pull out or something before they were like? I don't think they had condoms
he
back then.
mentioned something about being like using some. I don't remember if he says he uses something, but he mentions like being safe with all of the women before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was kind of curious. Like, would they have condoms? Like, what would they have used? Because they also don't really like. You were just kind of left to like assume the time period because they have like rifles and muskets, but then everything is like either by horse. It seems like they don't really have electricity.
It's Regency. There was...
Regency? Okay.
They did mention something about London that was... kind of gave it away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that
And
kind of...
Regency is like a hilariously narrow time period. It was... (1811 to 1820). So it's a period of 9 years.
Wow.
Wow.
Well,
That's
it only lasted
weirdly
for a month.
specific. Was it like tied to a certain ruler, or why was it such a short time?
It was... It was after George III died, and the Prince Regent became George IV. So it was the reign of George, the Prince Regent.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I googled
History.
that because I'm just like, I know this is a Regency novel because they said it at some point. But
Yeah.
I was interested in like what made it that, and I'm like, oh, it took place in this 9 years.
Yeah, and there are a lot of romance novels written about this time period. Like, this
Yeah.
lady alone has written, like, 30 set in this time period, so it's, like, impressive, actually.
Well,
Yeah.
they all only last a month, so that's
Yeah.
3 years.
Yeah, they fall in love super fast.
So far, we know of them 4 are all in the same family.
Yes.
So I could have just read the first line of Wikipedia. The Regency was a period when King George III was deemed unfit to rule, and his son ruled as his proxy as Prince Regent.
Okay.
So it was
Neat.
one specific someone ruling as a prince regent, which I'm sure happened a lot of times, but it was this one.
Nah.
This one was a big deal.
Yeah.
All right.
Somebody Google what contraceptives during that time would have been like.
I'm Googling it. I have made so many, like... Just...
I was kidding.
I'm doing it!
Too late!
You're gonna know now.
Yep.
Got to know. I'm gonna be on top of it at trivia night.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to trivia night on
trivia night.
Thursday, so...
Oh, there you go. Hopefully they ask about Regency period contraceptive methods.
There's one from a blog called Jane Austen World, called To Conceive or Not to Conceive. That is the Regency question.
I like it.
British contraception in the 18th century. Is your Victorian gentleman sponge-worthy?
Oh, what?
Sponge?
Is that what they used?
That's the title of a... Okay, hang on. I'm gonna find, like, the most reliable one I can, which these are all blogs, so probably none of them.
I think sponges do still exist.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose that would make sense.
Here's one called Pregnancy and Childbirth During the Regency Era, but it's still a blog.
Yeah.
It's on the internet. It's got to be true.
Yeah.
I mean, there doesn't seem to be any, like, reliable sources for this. I guess I'm not looking at, like, reliable source stuff, but...
No, I'm sure if you go to, like, the library or
Yeah, I don't have time for that.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
It's
here's
homework
one.
for next episode.
Yeah.
Okay, this is specifically about the United States, but I'm sure it was not that different.
No.
For blockage, they were fond of sea sponges. They could be bought in Sears and Roebuck catalog, thus described. Ladies find cup-shaped sponge with netting.
Oh my.
It was, of course, illegal to advertise as a possible contraception. They
Yeah.
just sold sponges.
Huh.
They
Well-
tried to kill sperm with douches and suppositories. Sears and Roebuck also sold ladies' antiseptic suppositories that were guaranteed to kill germs. Wherever you chose to stick it. Or anything that rhymed with germs. Lysol was also a possible sperm disinfectant, no joke. I mean, this source is not entirely reliable, but, you know, this is what I'm going with.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it looks like mostly sponges and douching, which I have never heard of as a contraceptive, so probably didn't work very well.
No.
No.
He kind of implied that it had been just pulling out, too, because it was, like, after, and then...
He was like,
but
oh,
he's
fuck.
like, ooh, I forgot.
I got so into her.
Homemade spermicidal recipes, vinegar, ammonia, paprika.
Ammonia?
Paprika.
That's
don't know
not gonna
about-
feel good.
I don't know if you better don't want that anywhere near the vajayjay.
Let's all take a
just
moment to
know.
appreciate that we live in 2018.
Oh,
I
yes.
was gonna say, I don't want any kind of spice down there.
Oh.
Like
this is a
sometimes
good
I
thing
hate
right
birth
now.
control, but then I read about this and I'm like, it's fine.
It's fine.
Yep.
It's all good.
You could always have paprika and sponges down there.
Just like a sponge and paprika dissolved in vinegar, it'll be fine.
Oh, that's
How is that
horrible.
pleasant for anybody?
Yeah, because he's also sticking his dick in that mess, too. Feel like everybody is burning at that point, and it's just not.
A hunk
If I gotta
of
deal with
burning
it, you gotta
love.
deal with it.
All right, I'm glad we learned something today. I'm glad the audience learned something really
Education.
cool
The more
today.
you know.
The more you know. Oh, I don't have anything rainbow.
I don't either. Oh, man.
I've got a giraffe here. The more you know.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the one behind you. I'm like, she's gonna pick that up.
I've got a little one too. They can be friends.
Aw. Or
That was a
after,
roller coaster.
Yeah, that was a roller coaster of emotions. Does anyone have anything else they want to talk about?
I do not.
Condoms are better than sponges.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sponges still exist, but they're probably better now.
That's fair.
I feel like
Yeah.
they'd be better. Alright.
Yeah.
All right, let's just end that then.
Cool. Let's end on that note. Wonderful.
Sponges
Learning.
and paprika.
Knowledge.
Knowledge.
Do we want to talk about the book for next month?
Yes.
Oh yeah. I forgot what it was called. Hang on.
It is, yeah, it's Gina's pick. Oh, I remember what
Pleasure
it's called.
Unbound?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
It's Pleasure Unbound by Larissa Ione. Book 1 of the series Demonica. It's about demon doctors.
It's like, wait, what?
I don't know where dragons came from. I just wanted there to be dragons.
Next book.
Demon doctors.
Sexy demon doctors, and I think the main character is like a demon hunter or something.
Yeah, it's
Trying not to fall in love with
I
the
think
demon
it's-
doctor.
I think it's a lady-led one, kind of like the first one we read. So
Yay.
Nice.
So yeah, that'll be next time.
do we have an outro?
Do you have is there like a short little synopsis thing you want to read of it, or?
Sure. Hang on.
Yes.
I gotta get the Google working again.
The Google machine.
Yes, so if you'd like to read along with us, you can kind of know what you're getting yourself into. It sounds fun.
All right. She's a demon slayer who hungers for sensual pleasure, but fears it will always be denied her, until Taylor Mancuso lands in a hospital run by demons in disguise, and the head doctor, Adolin, makes her body burn with unslakable desire. But to prove her ultimate loyalty to her peers, she must betray the surgeon who saved her life.
That sounds fantastic.
That sounds awesome.
There's betrayal, there's demons, I'm into it.
There's sexy doctors.
Yeah.
It'll be a good time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, back to the modern kind of fantasy, dark fantasy genre. Should
Hopefully
be fun.
this one will be less of a rapist dick, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll find out. He
Yep.
is a demon.
But he is a
Hopefully
doctor.
there will be
That's
sex.
true.
But
It's
he's a
more
doctor.
forgivable if he is.
Oh boy.
Oh.
This is gonna be like a Buffy Angel sort of situation.
That's
Oh,
what
boy.
I'm feeling. Yeah.
I can get into that, I guess.
Yeah,
At
that
least
should be
he
interesting.
respected women.
Angel would never do such a thing.
Yes, he would.
Yeah.
Just without a soul.
I kid.
you
I
know.
kid.
Oh yeah, there was that.
Yeah.
How do we end this? It's awkward.
Oh, I have. It's okay.
Okay.
I have an outro. We are prepared
How do
this
we
time.
end
Okay.
this and then it just cuts off?
That's how we end it.
That's
Yep.
what we should do. I vote that.
We should just get music for the end of this.
That'd be good too.
I think for this one we should just be like, how should we end this? End.
Do 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 do
do,
do.
do, do. Like a... Okay, Allie, read your outro.
Okay. Okay, so you can listen to other episodes of this podcast, as well as rate and subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, and CastBox. We're working on getting it up on Spotify, but I've been told that won't happen until probably about June, because they've
We're
been
on
getting
Spotify.
Are we? I can't find it.
Yeah. It's
It
there.
says that they won't add new ones until about June, because they were getting so many requests.
Our episode 1's on. It
Neat.
is.
Oh,
All
okay. I can't find it for some reason, but okay. So I guess we're on Spotify too.
Hooray.
We
Surprise.
also
Yeah.
so we also post a video recording of this episode to our YouTube channel, Bodice Ripping. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at Bodice Ripping or Bodice Ripping Podcast. And we post announcements on books we're reading, new episodes, and other news. So thanks for joining us, and here's to a ripping good time.
Yay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.